This is the VOA Special English Development Report. One of the world's largest aid groups is calling for changes in the way the world reacts to emergencies in Africa. CARE International says emergency aid is growing, yet more than 120 million Africans still face dangers like starvation. It says they are living permanently on the edge of emergency because international aid is not being spent wisely. CARE, in a new report, says $3,000 million was raised in 2003 to fight emergencies in Africa. That was 3 times the amount collected in 1997. But the group says financing is mostly for short-term food aid and often arrives too late. Jeffrey Dennis, chief of CARE International UK, uses the example of Niger. He says early action would have cost $1 a day per child to prevent malnutrition during a food crisis last year. But because aid arrived late, he says, the cost to save a child's life is now about $80. CARE says more than 80% of proposals for measures other than food aid in Kenya this year were rejected. The report says Ethiopia reported itself to be in food crisis 93% of the time between 1986 and 2004. Yet, the report says American spending on long-term aid in Ethiopia is less than 1% of emergency aid. CARE is urging the international aid system to target more money at the root causes of emergencies. It says these include HIV/AIDS, lack of local markets, climate change, and poverty. The group says long-term projects also need more support, like seed programs for farmers and better care for their animals. By spending money more intelligently, Mr. Dennis says, all but the most unexpected food crises could be prevented. He tells VOA he just returned from northeastern Kenya, an area hit hard by dry conditions. He says he met a man named Joseph, who a year ago had 70 cattle. All of the animals have died, he says, so now the man needs emergency food, water, and shelter. Mr. Dennis says this situation could have been prevented had aid money been used wisely. He says that a year ago, aid workers could have made sure the man had food and water for his animals. They could have helped him better market his animals, and they could have suggested that he get a mix of camels, goats, and other animals, not just cattle. And that's the VOA Special English Development Report, written by Jill Moss. I'm Steve Ember.